Can we learn a lesson about what it's like to be alive from the story of a dead man? And then we take a look at a truly terrifying story involving a haunted house. But this haunted house may have darker secrets. Is it possible that the world of demons has collided with outer space? Today on Dead Rabbit Radio. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dead Rabbit Radio. I'm your host, Jason Carpenter. I'm having a great day. I hope you guys are having a great day too. I hope you guys are having tons of fun doing whatever you're doing. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. So first off, running into Dead Rabbit Radio Command, everyone get on your feet and give it up for one of our legacy Patreon supporters. Soft, Pink, Aurora. Woohoo, yeah, wee! Haha, yeah, this big cloud's floating in. Aurora is like the Aurora Borealis, right? Sky. Isn't that what Aurora means? Well, not the way you pronounce it, Jason. It sounds more like a lion, Auroran, throughout the jungle. Soft Pink Aurora, you're going to be our captain, our pilot this episode. If you guys can't support the show financially through the merch store or the Patreon, I totally understand. I really, really do. Just help spread the word about Dead Rabbit Radio. That helps out so much. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone you know. Dead Rabbit Radio is your favorite paranormal show. That is how you can help the show grow. Okay, Soft Pink Aurora, we got a lot of stuff to cover today. Let's go ahead and squeeze your cloudy form. You're like, Jason, that's not what Aurora means. Soft Pink Aurora, let's go ahead and get this party started. I'm going to toss you the keys to the Jason Jet. Everyone get on your flight suit and climb on board as Soft Pink Aurora flies us out of Dead Rabbit Radio Command all the way to Afghanistan. So I'll be honest with you guys, as we're flying out to Afghanistan. Originally, I was going to do a story about this weird encounter this little boy had in Thailand. It's not what you're thinking. It's a paranormal story. But at the very last minute, I decided to fact check something, and the story got way weirder. I go, oh, okay, I might actually have to do some more research on that. So then I switched it up. I was going to do a story that took place in Afghanistan that wasn't paranormal. It was just interesting. And I just recorded that segment, and it's not that interesting, right? I mean, it's kind of interesting, but it's not super interesting. So as we're flying out to Afghanistan, I'm scrambling for something else to tell you about, because I gotta do something, right? Like, it totally threw the whole episode off. I just recorded it. I was like, this isn't funny or interesting. It's kind of interesting. Definitely not funny. It's quite depressing. Let's not be depressing today. Soft Pink Aurora, turn the Jason Jet away from Afghanistan after we already set off all their radars. They're like, incoming bogey, fire the missiles. Turn around. Let's head back. Thank you the whole time. You're like, whoops, the stupid Afghanistan story, Jason. Quit teasing us like that. We're leaving behind Afghanistan. We're headed back to a trio of bedrooms. Let's do this story instead. So we're going to visit 3 bedrooms. 4. We'll do, you know what? We'll just totally throw caution to the wind. We're going to visit 4 different bedrooms. And I want you to pick a number between 1 and 4. Because depending on which number you choose, that is your fate. You're like, Jason, I think you're really just grabbing random stuff online. At this point, you didn't even plan for this. Now you're making it a choose your own adventure. No, that's copyrighted. I'm making this a choose your fate. So pick a number between 1 and 4. Okay, do you have it? No, because I didn't plan on doing this. Let me write down the numbers real quick. So I said choose a number between 1 and 4. Do you have it? Perfect. Okay, so first off, we're hanging out in a bedroom. We're about to meet a young girl. We don't have a real name. We don't have any other real names for these bedroom stories. Let's call her Molly. Or you, maybe, right? If you pick the number. Molly, she's at home and she gets in a huge fight with her family. You know, we've all been there. We've all had at least 1 or 2 blow-ups with our loved ones. And she gets so mad that she goes, I'm out of here. But because she can't actually leave because she's a kid, she runs to her bedroom. And she locks the door when she gets in there. And she's, I'm so mad. Arr! And then she's thinking about the war in Afghanistan. She's like, oh, what a notable story Jason almost told. But instead of thinking about that, she sits down in this chair. And she goes, I'm just going to be mad in this chair. Now, the chair had a blanket over the back of it. So it's kind of like draped over a little bit in the front. And then it hung down the back of the chair as well. And she sits down and she's just fuming, but you can only fume for so long before you just start to get bored. So finally she picks up a book and she starts reading it. But as she's reading the book, she's starting to calm down a bit. All of a sudden, she realizes something is going on. She feels something on the top of her head, and it begins to slowly move across her scalp, and now it is touching her forehead. A moment after that, it completely covers her face. What she is feeling is the blanket that is hanging over the back of the chair. Somebody has picked it up and is slowly placing it over her head, and then covering her face. She feels the blanket just kind of drape over her. And she's sitting there in this room, her room, the place she should be safe, completely terrified. She sits there for a moment, and then she reaches up and moves the blanket away from her face. She's the only one in the room. It was an Afghan blanket, actually. A pretty good crossover. She was the only one in the room. So, if you pick number 1, you're like, jeez. If I picked number 1, I got a blanket on my face. Whoop-de-doo. Well, here's the thing. First off, how terrifying would that be? But before you answer that, mildly, that would be just kind of mildly inconvenient. I'm trying to read a book. No. Think about it. Think about it. First off, it'd be absolutely terrifying. But what was the motive of this? There's a couple different ways you could suss it out. She's a young girl, and sometimes at that age, in girls, it doesn't really happen in boys. Sometimes, super rare though. She could be developing some sort of psychokinetic powers. That could have been what the fight was over. They're like, quit moving all the glasses. Pots and pans are flying out of the kitchen cabinets. It's possible that she manifested the blanket to move. It's also possible that it was a ghost doing it. But it was definitely something paranormal. She was the only one in the room, and a blanket lifted up and then draped over her face. Here's my question. Was whatever was here, this spirit, did it try to comfort her? Was it actually a dumb ghost who could tell that she was really worked up and wanted to make her feel good? So the ghost goes, well, I know when people... It's a stupid voice, too. Was the ghost saying, well, I know people like to wrap themselves in blankets when they're feeling bad. Like, on a cold day, they'll wrap it around them and drink hot cocoa. He's making hot cocoa, splashing it in her face. Here's the thing. I wonder if the ghost is trying to comfort her, to kind of like swaddle her, to kind of wrap her in a blanket, but he's dumb. Because yes, when you're feeling bad, sometimes wrapping yourself in a blanket can make you feel good, but not over your face. You just wrap it around you and you walk around and you go, oh, this feels a little bit better. And the ghost is taking notes. He's writing ectoplasm notes. He's all, oh, blankets equal good. The tighter, the better. He's like strangling people. Feel better. Feel better now. You're all, oh. So I wonder if the ghost is trying to comfort her. Or whatever was here. She didn't say that anything happened before or since this time. It was just this one moment. Let me double check that real quick. I didn't plan on doing this story. Give me 1 second. That was it. Yeah, she doesn't ever say that she had paranormal activity before or after this. It was a one-off thing. Which makes it even more odd. If she said, yeah, I grew up in a haunted house. Every so often the ghost would do something, and on this particular time, it covered my face with a blanket. You go, well, that's still weird. Actually, I think it's a guy. Now I'm looking more at the profile. There's a photo of a man that he posted saying, started growing a mustache. And there's a picture of a dude with a mustache. Listen, I swear that I usually do a lot of research for this show. I really do. It's just been, like, I had to throw a story out. It's just been today. It's just been today. Not any other day, no. Sometimes the research can get wonky. Double checking, triple checking some of these stories. Anyway, so this man named Maul got in a fight with his family, blanket over his face, messed up his mustache a little bit. Here's my thing, and really this is a takeaway. Oh, by the way, I forgot, if you picked number 1, this is you. If you pick number 1, you get really, really mad today. You're going to have a huge fight with the person you care about the most. But don't worry, because no matter how the fight, it totally gets resolved. You're like, that was weird. Why did we get such a huge argument over that simple thing? No matter what it is or if it's resolved, when you least expect it later that night, you're just going to be sitting in a chair. You're flying a helicopter over Afghanistan. You're like, oh, what? A blanket is going to cover you up. You're like, And you're just like, Jason, all he did or she did was simply move the blanket away. Yeah, but it would still be scary. I'm telling you, that would terrify me. The other day, I was in the bathroom at Bistro Flicks, which is a local movie theater / pizza parlor. I love it. I go there all the time. But I also know from people who work there, it used to be called Andrew's Pizza, and I knew a lot of people who worked at Andrew's Pizza. The men's restroom is haunted. I've heard it from multiple people. The men's restroom is haunted. There's a girl in there. There's a little girl in there. Or I always use the term little girl. She might be a teenager. I don't know. But she's dead. She's a ghost. I'm not really worried about how old she is. Now, that's all well and good. I'm a paranormal researcher. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to go in there and research some ghosts. The problem with it is, I mean, it's a nice place. It's a nice bathroom. The problem is that they have a motion sensor for their lights. You know, so they can save money. The lights aren't on all the time in the bathroom. The problem is that the motion sensor is set for like 7 minutes. I don't know about you, but that's cutting it close for me. I don't think I could poop in 7 minutes. I don't know if I could be in and out that quickly. I would be a little concerned about someone who was. I mean, sure, yeah, I am reading when I go to the bathroom. I'm looking stuff up. I'm like, oh, I can half research this right now and record it on the episode. No problem. I'm constantly reading on my phone, but even just the physical act, from the time that I take my pants off, I leave them they're around my ankles, okay? I'm not like completely naked in the stall. You're like, Jason, maybe if you kept your clothes on, it wouldn't be as long. You pull your pants down. That's what I meant to say. From the time I get into the bathroom and the light turns on, I'm not even in the stall yet. Then I have to go into the stall, pull my pants down, sit down. Right there, that's already a good 5 minutes. No, I'm just joking. That takes a while, though. It takes a couple minutes, probably 2 or 3 minutes. And then there's the actual process of pooping, which no human outside of someone who's severely sick, if you spend 2 minutes getting into the stall, you cannot poop within 5 minutes and be done. Like, you wiped and everything, your pants pulled back up. You can't do it. If you have a book to read or smartphone, then it's going to take like 20, 30 minutes because you're going to spend the first 8 to 10 minutes actually pooping. And then the rest of the time, you're on your phone. You're like, Jason, it doesn't take anyone that long. You might want to go to a doctor. I'm all, Anyways, this is my point. Their light shuts off super fast. This has happened to me twice. I go to the bathroom. I'm sitting down on the toilet. I'm going poop. I'm on my phone, and then the power goes out. Well, the power doesn't go out, but it's a little dramatic. The lights shut off. And now I'm in a pitch black bathroom, and it's motion activated, but I'm in a box. I'm in a stall, so no matter how much I wave my arms around, the light won't turn back on. So what I have to do is activate the flashlight on my phone. That's step 1. And then step 2 is to waddle out, right? Because your pants are around your ankles. You waddle out into the darkness. You're like, what if someone else walks? What if someone else walks in? I'm mid-waddle, my pants are down around my ankles. What are you talking about, you lunatic? Maybe just go to a different restaurant. Maybe don't use that restaurant. Isn't it near your house? Aren't you constantly talking about, oh yeah, I just walked downtown? Listen, man, emergencies happen. But I'm sitting in the toilet and the light's out. And I have my flashlight. Now, there's a couple things I can do. One, I can waddle out through the bathroom with my pants around my ankles and take the chance that no one's going to walk in while I'm doing that and then wave my arms around in the air, which would be hilarious if you walked into a bathroom Because it's one of those bathrooms, it's multiple people can use it. There's a urinal and a stall. There's no lock on the door. On the stall door, yes, but on the door end. Imagine if you walked into a pizza restaurant. You're like, oh, before I eat this pizza, I'm going to use the restroom. You walk into a restroom, and the first thing you see is a man waving his hands in the air, trying to set off a motion-activated light system. You don't know what he's doing. You're not like, oh, the lights must have gone out. You walk in, and there's a man with his pants around his ankles, standing up, waving his arms in the air wildly. But luckily that didn't happen. I mean, I did wave my arms in the air with my pants around my ankles, but nobody came in. And so I was able to reactivate the lights. But here's the thing. I'm leaving out a key detail in between the lights going out and me turning them back on. When I was sitting in there, the lights go out. I activate the flashlight on my phone. And really, all that's illuminated is the front of where I'm sitting at. And what that is, it's the gap of the door. So I see the door in front of me, and then there's about a 1 to 2 foot gap, probably like closer to 2 foot gap, where I can see the feet of anyone standing outside waiting to use the stall. And the entire time, as I'm hurriedly wiping, you're like, Jason, I'm glad you added that detail, because you didn't mention that once. The entire story. Lights turn back on, I pull my pants up, I go out, finish my pizza. No, I was wiping in the dark. Jason, why did you pull your pants up then? Anyways, don't overthink the pants. Don't overthink the pants. I'm sitting there and I have the flashlight on and I'm looking at that gap. I can't take my eyes away from it. I'm looking at that gap in between the door and the floor of this bathroom stall. And every second that passed, all I could think about was, what if I see a pair of feet standing outside this door? That's all I could think about. I know that restroom's haunted. I know people have seen and heard things back there. And all I could think about is, what if I see a pair of feet appear? And it didn't happen, and then I go, wow, what if it appeared now? Oh, how scary it would be if it appeared now. Oh, I'd be so terrified if it appeared now. That thought just kept processing. Every second that passed, as I'm holding the phone with one hand and furiously wiping with the other, I kept thinking, what if right now I see a pair of feet materialize? I see little girl shoes and little thin legs. I would know it wasn't a real person because obviously it would have set off the motion sensor. I would have known the only thing that could possibly be appearing in front of me is this ghost girl. And that was going through my head. And there was this tiny, tiny voice in the back of my mind also saying, wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be cool? Imagine if a ghost appeared. I had two dueling thoughts. The first loudest panic thought was my lizard brain saying, I don't want to see any ghosts. I just want to get the light turned back on. But in the back of my mind, that paranormal researcher was saying, dude, what if that happened? That would be cool. What if that, it was very interesting. It was almost like a dueling response. And I didn't see anything. And my heart is very happy for that. Not like my soul, but I mean my heart probably would have going crazy had that happened. The threat level, right? That lizard brain, I probably would have kicked the stall door open. Would probably have been my first instinct. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I couldn't afford to buy a stall door for a restaurant. But the paranormal, it's so funny because we talk about doing research and going out to these haunted locations, and then you're trapped in one. Trapped in a known haunted location, and all I wanted to do was to turn the light on before I saw something. What does this have to do with the blanket story? I don't remember. I was going with something. Maybe it was this. You would know if a ghost covered your head up with a blanket, that ghosts are real. Maybe that's where I was going with that. I don't remember. But if you pick number one, you get a blanket on your face. You're like, Jason, you know. It is a daily show, but maybe take a day off. No, I like doing this, and I think this is fun. So remember, if you pick number one, you got a blanket on your face. Let's move on. You're like, damn it, Jason, you look at your watch, there's 3 more of these. You totally forgot about the numbers. You forgot your number. You're like, fine, whatever. I'll be 1. I'll get a blanket on my face. Well, here's interesting, too. Why is it, I can't go into long detail about this because we got 3 more of these to cover, but what is it about blankets that we find to be protection against the paranormal? There is a connection there. I can't really work it out. Originally, I just thought it was this idea of if I can't see it, it can't see me, like a very childlike, almost toddler-like way to deal with threats. I think there's something deeper to that. I think there really is a reason why blankets, because you never hear anyone go, oh, and then this ghost came into my room, so I put a pillowcase over my head. It's always a blanket. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. That was number 1, right? Okay, so yeah, we got 3 more of these. We leave that room, we hear someone going, as they're struggling underneath a blanket to the face, and we hear a guy going, sleep. Blankets mean sleep. Blankets mean friend. Blanket means ghost friend for me. Oh, we're like, well, good thing we didn't pick 4. We're walking into the next room. Oh, wait, that was 1. Sorry, I'm already getting confused. You're like, wait, good thing we didn't pick 1 is what I say. We walk into the next room and I go, now this room, if you picked 4, this fate will befall you. But don't change your number just yet. Let me tell the story. It's the early 2000s. We're about to meet a young woman named Tracy. And she's a new mother. So if you picked 4, all of a sudden your stomach goes, it gets really big. You start to feel that weight. You start to watch your stomach inflate. You're all, it's like MPreg fiction. You're like, It's like, here's some books to read while you're instantly pregnant. You're like, what? Am I going to give birth out of my butthole? I go, no. Don't worry about the details, good sir. Just know that there is a lot of money that could be made writing stories about men giving birth. And maybe you're not a man, right? You're like, I've already had 10 babies. I'm not worried about 10 babies is excessive. I've already had a few babies, Jason. I'm not worried about this next one. You're like just plopping it out like a Slurpee on a hot summer day. Your stomach's distending. You got this little baby inside of you. You give birth, and out comes your daughter. We'll call her Susan. Wee. But all that happens at the hospital. She's not giving birth in this bedroom. You're like, wow, number 4 is super intense. I'm giving birth in a bedroom next to all those people who just got strangled by a blanket. You give birth to a baby. You take the baby home from the hospital. You raise the baby for a while. At this point, the baby is living in her own crib. And I don't think you put like newborn babies in cribs, right? If you have like a fresh baby, like it's a day or 2 old, I think you're supposed to sleep with it, right? You sleep with it on you or next to you. You don't put a baby in a crib for a while. They're babies and they're super small and their brains are so tiny and their skulls are so soft they can like slither through the sides of the crib. I think you have to be like 6 months or older to be in a crib. But I could be wrong. Anyways, the point is that you've had a baby, but the baby's old enough to be in a crib. And you're sleeping well. You're dead asleep when all of a sudden you wake up and you hear a wah, wah. You hear the baby crying in her bedroom. You definitely have to be old to be a baby in a different bedroom. I know that. You may go, Jason, no, you can put a baby that's 3 days old in a crib. Possibly. But you definitely want to put a 3-day-old baby in a crib in another room. I think that's probably like against the law. You probably get arrested for that. The baby police, the Paw Patrol shows up. Anyways, you hear your baby Susan crying in the other room, so you get up to check on her. But when you walk into the room, you're terrified. It's me with no pants on. I'm waving my arms. I'm like, help. I vanished. I'm not really there. That was just a figment of your imagination. No, you walk into the baby's bedroom, and she is surrounded by several pairs of red eyes. You see all of these red eyes just kind of floating in the air, surrounding the crib. All of the red eyes are angled down to look at your baby. And that's when you see your young child get poked and prodded by these invisible fingers. You can actually see her body twist and her skin get pushed in by something long and sharp and invisible. You can see the discomfort and the baby screaming, "Ah!" That's super intense, bro. You're all strangling yourself with a blanket. You're like, no, give me number 1. Wouldn't that be absolutely terrifying? That's a story that was posted online when people were talking about, like, crazy stories. How else would that ever come up? Someone's like, how was your weekend? Oh, man, I didn't get a lot of sleep. I saw my baby get poked by invisible demons. Now, here's the thing. You could argue maybe they weren't demons. You could go, maybe my baby has some sort of, like, muscle disease, and she's just twisting and rolling around. She's having these muscle contractions. And there were no demons, but that could be, right? You take your baby to the doctor to get that checked out. But the red eyeballs. How would you not freak out if you walked in to a room and saw your baby, if she was just surrounded by red eyeballs? That'd be bad enough. But the fact that they are purposely, like, poking her and hurting her and making her scream, like, that is the definition of demonic. Picking on a baby and being invisible and having red eyes, all that stuff plays into it. How horrifying would that be? If you pick number 4, you are watching this. You're like, Jason, I don't want to play this game anymore. The problem, here's the thing, I will acknowledge this. The problem with Dead Rabbit Radio, and I've known this for years at this point, is I have a little bit of control over it, sure. But even I will acknowledge, this show goes from 0 to 60 really quick, right? First you're like, oh yeah, why do blankets always help kids and adults hide from demons? And then the next story's about a child being abused by invisible, all-powerful entities. Like, what do you do in that situation? How would you ever get a good night's sleep after that? So I do acknowledge that sometimes it does just go from one into the other. It can get dark sometimes. But anyway, so if you pick number 4, a bunch of demons poked your baby. But Susan's fine. They didn't poke her to death. She probably has a fear of red eyes at this point. She's like, I need my Visine. My eyes can't even be pink. Gives me flashbacks. She starts having muscle spasms. But yeah, so if you pick number 4, you watch a bunch of demons poke your kid. That's it, though. Really, nothing happened to you. You're just like, oh, well, I didn't think I was going to have a kid anyways. It came out of my butthole. It does explain a lot why demons would come after it. I am the star of an Empreg novel, and there are always some sort of villainy afoot in these stories. So now we move on to the next room. We have 2 numbers left, 2 and 3. We go to the next room. We're about to meet a young woman. Let's call her Monica, or let's call them you. If you picked number 2, this is you. You're asleep one night. But it's not a comfortable sleep. It's not a restful sleep. Because for so long, you have had the same experience. It doesn't happen every night, but it happens enough that it really concerns you to fall asleep. And that is, on a regular basis, you will wake up in the middle of the night. And you will see, standing all around your bed, you're completely surrounded, a group of men. You're all, is this more Empreg, Jason? You're all, ooh la la, chapter 2. No, so here's the thing. You wake up in the middle of the night, on a regular basis. This is not a dream. Monica experienced this. If you pick number 2, you're experiencing this. On a regular basis, you wake up in the middle of the night. You're surrounded by men. They're all wearing the exact same business suit. And they all have the exact same face. Okay. Do they poke me? Are they poking me? No, they just stand there. Now, here's the thing. You're all ripping up your iPhone. You're like, this podcast sucks, man. All the people who picked 3 are... What? My baby got poked. I had to watch my baby get poked. This guy, there's just someone standing around his bed. They don't even do anything. Well, here's the thing. Imagine this. This is what I find very interesting about this. Monica posted this story online. I don't think that's what she's seen. I think that's what her brain is registering. She sees a group of men all wearing the same business suit who all have the same face. It's very interesting that they all have the same face. They all have the same business suit, because I would be really curious to see if she doesn't like businessmen, if she doesn't like men, if she doesn't like a particular type of man, and so on and so forth. Very interesting. This sounds like a gray alien abduction. And that's the only way her brain can process it. And the fact that it happens regularly and she's not dreaming, she wakes up and these men are surrounding her bed, she doesn't have an end. She doesn't say, and then they all vanish. Or, and then the next thing I know, it's morning. Or they just turn and they walk away and fade away into the walls. Nothing. Because what's probably happening is she is regularly being abducted by aliens. And this is the only way her brain can process this. If she woke up and she saw what was really there, she would go mad. So instead of seeing these gray aliens, who are very uniform, they all do have the same face and the same body. They all kind of match. She's probably being abducted by gray aliens. And it's happening so often, she must be more chip than man at this point. Like, she must have had so many procedures done. Because there are a lot of people who get abducted more than once by aliens. We get people who only have one experience, or at least they remember. Then we have people who are abducted throughout their lives. But she's getting abducted every couple nights. So it's terrifying when you look at it that way. If you just think, oh, I wake up, there's a bunch of businessmen standing around my bed. No biggie. But if you are actually suppressing the true horror of what you're going through, that's pretty bad. Terrifying. You're like, no, Jason, it's not even close to watching your baby getting poked by demons. Okay, well, we got one more. And we don't have time for the second story. Sorry, again, this episode really went off the rails. But I am having fun recording it, so I hope you're having fun listening to it. It's been a long time since we did one of these. You're like, yeah, Jason, for a reason. They're usually out of control. This one, most of the time, you talked about being stuck in a bathroom, and you weren't. You just wiped and walked out of the dark bathroom. You didn't have to stand there moving your arms and stuff like that. You're still like, I don't even know what to say about all that. We got one more for you, if you dare. Because you can end the episode right now if you're, most of you already have, but here's the thing. If you chose number 3, you can have blissful ignorance, right? You could go, well, I'm sure number 3 was totally fine. Probably wasn't a baby getting poked. Probably wasn't abduction by gray aliens on a regular basis. Probably not even a blanket over the face. So just shut the podcast off now, if you're number 3. Because if you listen any further, that's not my responsibility. Just letting you know. Okay, so everyone gather around. All of you people who've been suffocated by blankets. You new mothers. You new mothers holding bruised babies. And you come over here. The business people. When I had to look back over my notes, I was like, what was the one I just did? You're walking in with all these business people. Come on. Because now let's look at number 3 and the fate that they chose. And we're going to find it through the story of a young boy. We're going to call him Jamie. He's 7 years old, and one night he was in his bedroom. Totally awake, not dreaming. Just chilling in his bedroom. These are all real stories, by the way. You're like, Jason, I just think you're making them up. Is this stuff AI prompt set out? No! These are all real stories posted by real people. Jamie, 7 years old, he's at home in his bedroom, just hanging out. He's not asleep. He goes, I wasn't asleep, I was just chilling in there. When all of a sudden, he sees something walk into his bedroom. He looks at it. His mind's trying to wrap itself around what this is. It couldn't be. This can't. No. Even as a child, as much as I want to believe, I'm old enough to know this is impossible. And he's looking at this figure walk into his room. Walk into the room like he owns the place. This figure towers over Jamie by easily a good 3 or 4 feet. It's massive, huge, big. Walks into Jamie's room and it's laughing maniacally, the way a madman would at the end of some sort of insane James Bond movie. Or, if that's too far-flung for you, too fictional, the same way that a maniac who's dug a knife into his newest victim, his warm blood spraying on the serial killer's face. You're like, we get it, Jason. We've all heard the Joker. We know maniacal laughing. Ho, 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 hee. The laugh of a madman, the laugh of a somebody or someone who's truly lost its mind. Jamie watches this large creature. This is the only way to describe it. Something more animal than man. Although it walks upright, it's no friend of humanity. It's a beast, a monster. It walks into Jamie's bedroom just laughing its head off. Ha 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 ha. Completely oblivious to the young boy viewing this whole thing. He doesn't even look over at him. This creature walks into the bedroom laughing, laughing, laughing until it reaches Jamie's dresser. At that point, it vanishes. Disappears without a trace. So if you pick number 3, this happens to you. No, even better yet, if you pick number 3, this is going to happen to you. You're going to be sitting at home one day. I tell the whole story over again. You're like, yeah, we get it. Laughing like a maniac. Stabbing somebody. You're like, yeah. What walked into his room? Obviously it was some sort of creature. What did it look like? Well, defied explanation, really. If I told you what it was, you'll either think it's 10 times scarier than what you could imagine, or dumb. But even if you go, well, that's stupid. What a waste of time. If I didn't tear my iPhone up yet, grr. No, because trust me, this is terrifying. Whether or not you think it's dumb, you'll go, well, that's stupid. Probably. But then you'll think about it. And you go, actually, that might be the scariest thing you could possibly see walk into your room laughing like a madman. Because what Jamie saw walk into the bedroom was none other than famous film star and noted childhood celebrity. You're like, what? Who could this be? Robert De Niro? Who's both a movie star? That kid's love. Who could it be? Big Bird. Big Bird. Pause. You're like, pause. Wait. What? Did I just listen to 15 minutes of a podcast? And the climax is Big Bird walking into a bedroom? Well, here's what's interesting about this. First off, that's absolutely terrifying. I said in the beginning, if I was standing in the bathroom and I saw a pair of little girl legs appear in the darkness, I would be terrified and my heart would skip a beat. Which at my age, it needs all the beats it can get. Now, imagine if it's pitch black in there, I have my flashlight on, and I see Big Bird's feet. I mean, I would just give up at that point. I was like, is there any blankets around here? Can I suffocate myself? But imagine what's worse. You're in a haunted house, and you see a ghost girl walking down the stairs. Or you're in a haunted house, and you open a door, and Big Bird's there. Laughing. That makes it 10 times scarier. You would have a heart attack. Anybody would. Because so many things would be going through your head. The first thing would be, I've lost it. I've officially gone insane. I'm seeing Big Bird in the real world. Now, what's funny is we've covered a ton of stories like this on this show, where people see fictional characters. Everything from Chester Cheetah running around bathrooms in Mexico. So recently we did that one where the guy was watching like a commercial for a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and Freddy Kruger started talking to the kid, being like, come with me, boy, I'll take you to Sheol. And the kid didn't know what that meant at that time. It's like hell. We've had Mickey Mouse talk to kids in the television set, being like, come and join us. Easter Bunny shows up a lot, oddly enough. We have a lot of fictional characters show up in real life, in these hauntings. And again, you go, what's interesting about this is, with the last story, I think the girl saw the businessman, but what she really was experiencing was alien abduction. I think this is the opposite. The boy saw Big Bird. I think it actually was Big Bird. I think it was something taking the form of Big Bird. I don't think it was actually Big Bird. Well, now that I think about it, I don't think it was, though. I think it was either something disguised as Big Bird. But this is what's interesting about this, too. It's not the other examples I gave, Mickey Mouse trying to get the kid to climb into the television set, or Freddy Krueger threatening the boy in the living room who was watching television at the time, all this other stuff. The Big Bird did not interact with Jamie at all. It was just passing through. It didn't look at him. It didn't go, bugga, bugga, bugga. No one will believe you. Not even Snuffleupagus. It didn't even do anything. It didn't say anything. It didn't sing a song from Follow That Bird. That was a famous movie. That's why I said he was a movie star. No, he just passed through. It's almost... Okay, it's not creepy. I was about to say it's almost creepier, but it's weirder for sure. Because you imagine if it was a demon who wanted to look like Big Bird, he would have been like, come on, boy, follow that bird. Follow me. And the kid's like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, haven't you seen that movie that came out in 1984? He's like, no. Well, follow that bird, and that means me. And bird means me too. It's just follow me, you dumb kid. Follow me to Sheol. It's like, what? What are you talking about? It didn't interact with him at all. It was just Big Bird walking through his bedroom. Was it a demon? Was it actually Big Bird? Was it something that looks like Big Bird, but it's not actually Big Bird? You're like, Jason, okay, just wrap it up, man. I'm already done with my dishes. My homework's done. I'm almost home driving on my commute. Just wrap it up. Who knows? We don't know if this... Okay, probably wasn't actually Big Bird, but it might have been. I don't know with this one. I really can't even contextualize this. I mean, it's possible the kid was losing his mind. But again, he posted no other stories about... And the one day I was walking down the street and Raggedy Ann and Andy showed up with Pippi Longstocking and the cast of Pinwheel, and we went on an amazing adventure. No, it was just one event in his life where Big Bird walked into his room, ignored him. That's actually kind of hurtful now that I think about it. Imagine if your favorite fictional character showed up. You're like, wow, Donald Duck, what are you doing here? And he's just like reading a book. And I was like, Donald, really? Are we going to go find some gold with Huey, Dewey, and Louie? And he's like, ugh. And he just kind of walks away and disappears. That actually kind of hurt my feelings. I'd be like, oh man, he drops a single feather. I was like, oh, Ronald McDonald told me you would betray me. Donald Duck. That's it. I got to call it my good buddy, Magilla Gorilla. He's my therapist. I mean, at a certain point, okay, here's the thing. I don't know. Listen, man, let's be totally honest. Originally, it was supposed to be a story about a kid visiting Thailand, a paranormal story. Then it was going to be a story about a warrior in Afghanistan realizing what life really means when he had to care for the body of a dead ally. And I recorded that. I just didn't think it was that interesting. You're like, Jason, I haven't heard that, but I'm sure it's way more interesting than the Big Bird story. And then I have this other story ready to go about this really cool haunting, but I ran out of time. So instead we have this one. So I don't have a real way to wrap this up. I didn't really plan on it, but I'll have to figure out something. So give me a moment. Okay, I got it. We're going to wrap it up like this, ladies and gentlemen. I figured this out. And you're like, oh, dude, I bet this is good. I can tell Jason's recording this at a totally different time. A day or two may have passed since he recorded everything else. His voice sounds different, man. You're like, everyone be quiet. I want to play this on the loudspeaker at work. Boss, is it okay if I hook this up to the PA? Jason's about to say something dope. Well, okay. No pressure on me, right? Big Bird. You're like, oh wait, I forgot. He's still talking about the stupid Big Bird. He's like, boss, yeah, let me shut it off. Nope, too late. We're already up to the PA. If you picked... It's true, I'm recording this like a day or two later and I already forgot what number, but if you picked the Big Bird number, I think it was 3. You think you got off scot-free. You're like, dude, I'm not a baby. I didn't get poked. Or a parent watching my baby get poked, you know? Just watch Big Bird walk into the room. Well... You're wrong. This one is going to be the worst of all. Because if you picked whatever number is the Big Bird number, this is your fate. You're sitting in your bedroom, and this will happen later tonight, too. This isn't anything that may have happened. It is guaranteed 100%. You're like, awesome, dude, I'm a huge fan of Sesame Street. Maybe Grover will show up, too. If you chose the Big Bird number, this is what's going to happen to you later tonight. You're going to be sitting there in your bedroom, and all of a sudden you're going to hear... You're like, oh, Jason did guarantee this, right? You got all these cameras set up. This is fantastic. I wonder if I can get his autograph. Follow That Bird was my favorite movie. And then all of a sudden, Big Bird walks in. He's exactly how you imagined him. He's 8 feet tall. yellow, covered in feathers, laughing maniacally. It's not just ordinary Big Bird, it's this crazed version of him. But this time, instead of just walking past you, he turns and he looks at you and he goes, "Wow, look at you. You're so strong. Squawk. You're so strong." He's not a chicken, you idiot. He doesn't squawk. Whatever, he's a bird. He goes, "Look how strong you are. Walk, walk. Look at how strong you are." And he walks over to you and he starts feeling your muscles. You're like kind of flexing for him. You're trying to impress Big Bird. You're like, "Oh yeah, I've been working out." "Oh, good, good. So strong, so strong." He's not a parrot either, Jason. Have you ever watched Sesame Street? Well, this is the worst impression ever you've ever done. Big Bird is feeling your muscles and going, "Oh, you're strong. Look at what a strong young person you are. Big Bird needs a strong person." And that's when he takes a blanket off of your bed. I'm like, "Oh no, I haven't washed my blankets in a long time. These sure are smelly." And he throws it over your head. And you go, "Oh, I see what this is." It's going to be a combination, apparently. Big Bird's going to put a blanket on my head. Poke my baby. No, it's worse than that. Don't jump ahead. Big Bird throws a blanket over your head. And he goes, "It's easier if you can't see me." And that's when you hear what sounds like a flesh zipper begin to unravel. And you're lucky you have a blanket over your head, because if you didn't, if you peeked, you would see that the feathers have fallen to the floor. It was all big suit. Did you know that? Did you know that's not really a bird? That's actually a suit? But inside, instead of a man who simply pretended to be Big Bird, you see now the naked, fleshy form of what Big Bird would look like without feathers. It's slimy, gooey, and bald. His whole body. And you start to feel these fleshy hands touch you. You go, "Big Bird, Big Bird, what are you doing?" And he goes, "I love you. I love you more than I love Snuffleupagus. And I love Snuffleupagus a lot." And that's when you feel his beak pressed against your lips. You start making out with Big Bird. You're rubbing your hands all over his disgusting naked body. You're like, "Oh, it's gross." It's like having sex with a 8-foot-tall piece of chicken fat. And it's rapturous. You find yourself quickly enthralled by Big Bird's touch. You're like, "Okay, Jason, just wrap this up. This is horrific." Yeah, you have sex with Big Bird. Basically, if you chose, I think it was number 3, you make sweet, sweet love to Big Bird with a blanket over your head. You know, a little tie-in. And while Big Bird is having his way with you, and you consent, you're really into this. You're like, "No, I don't, Jason. I don't consent at all." You're kicking your iPhone across the room. "I don't consent at all." Yeah, you do. In this version, you do. As you're doing that, you look and you realize that while you're making love to Big Bird, you see your bed. Here's what good. Your bed is surrounded by a bunch of people watching you make love to Big Bird. There's not just anybody. It's all the animated birds in film history. So, like the canaries from Snow White going, or Cinderella, whatever. I don't know. Whatever movie had stupid birds in it. How many fake birds are there? I guess there's like some pirate bird from Peter Pan. And Donald Duck, he's there too. He came back in. "What a month! When's my turn?" You're like, "Oh, Donald, you'll have a turn. Don't you leave just yet, sir." And you're making love to Big Bird, and all these other cartoon birds are watching you. Foghorn, Leghorn's in there. He's like, "I do declare, this is quite disgusting. I think I'm gonna throw up." Blah. You're making love to Big Bird as you're surrounded by other animated fictional birds watching you. And then finally, Big Bird's done. It took a long time, too. It was not quick. He really was going for it. He really wanted to make sure you felt as good as he did. And you did. You're sitting there smoking a cigarette, laying next to Big Bird, and he goes, "My species allows me to put eggs in any other species." He just gets up and walks away. That's it. Doesn't say, "I love you. You're all heartbroken. You're all Big Bird. Come back. I'll have all your eggs. Put your eggs in me." But no, Big Bird's off to his next conquest. A lot of people picked number 3. He has to go all over the world. And right when he leaves, you feel your stomach start to swell up. You're like, oh man, not this part. But it's like weird because like the chemicals in your brain, you're like, no more mpreg or regular preg. If you're a woman, this giant egg appears inside of your abdomen. And the rest of your night, after a long sensual lovemaking session with Big Bird, you find yourself laying a giant wet egg in the middle of your bedroom. Huge. I mean, it's not like a turkey-sized egg. We're talking like comically large to anyone who watches it. They're like, man, how is that even possible? You're like, I don't know. Please kill me. Kill me. Your ribs are all snapping open. Just make room for this giant egg. But eventually you lay a giant Big Bird egg and you fall to the ground panting. You're like, oh my god, that was horrible. That was the worst experience. Who would have known having sex with Big Bird and then birthing his child in the same night would be so traumatic? I never would have guessed that. You're laying on the ground, you're covered in sweat, you're panting. And you... I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of it. I was going to have you lay another egg or have a bunch of demons show up and poke the egg, but I think you got the point. It would suck. It would be the worst option possible. So there you go. There you go. The stories were barely related. They all took place in a bedroom. That was it. Bedroom's one of the scariest places. This is all that you had. What's funny is that while I did have to throw this episode together, I'm totally upfront about that. I said it in the beginning. Because the other thing I wanted to cover fell apart. And it'll come back stronger for another episode. The Thailand boy story. And the Afghan story, it just didn't think it was that interesting. But what's funny is that these 4 stories I've had sitting on my computer for weeks. I've actually really wanted to tell these stories. I just didn't know in what form. So here we go. I told them in the most obnoxious, disgusting version possible. While the episode may feel like it was thrown together, I've actually had these stories ready to go for a while. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about Big Bird haunting a room? But I go, I'll cover this, I'll cover that, I'll cover this. So I'm actually glad. I'm really happy with this episode. I had a lot of fun recording it. Hope you guys had a lot of fun listening to it. Probably not the people who picked number 3. Probably not the people who listened to the end, but I had a lot of fun with this. And I needed to pick me up. I had a pretty... bummy day. I'm not making excuses. Now they're like, oh, I hated Jason for this episode, but now he's making me feel bad. Now I have to like it. Now I'm not saying it for that, but ups and downs in life, right? And this episode I think came at just the right time to really give me a pick me up. I was laughing while I was recording it. I was laughing while I was editing it. Now I'm adding this last part in to wrap it up, and hope you guys were laughing too. If you're having a bad day, I think this would be a perfect episode for it. You're like, yeah, my baby got poked. I'm in trial for that. They think it's me. I keep telling them it's the floating eyes. And I got catfished on Tinder by a bird. So yes, this was the exact episode I needed to pick me up, you jerk. But I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed recording it. It was pretty wild even for a regular Dead Rabbit Radio episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed it anyways. DeadRabbitRadio@gmail.com is going to be your email address. You can also hit us up at Facebook.com/DeadRabbitRadio. TikTok is @DeadRabbitRadio. Dead Rabbit Radio is the daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime podcast. You don't have to listen to it every day, but I'm glad you listened to it today. Have a great one, guys.